So let's play another Bible game. It's the Book of Genesis on Sega Genesis, and the soundtrack is Genesis. I'm just making this up, but let's move on to Super Nintendo and check out this game that I'm actually not making up. I couldn't even come up with anything half as crazy if I tried. This is Super Noah's Ark 3D, yet it's also referred to as Super 3D Noah's Ark because of the way the title art's misrepresented. So, who knows? Call it whatever you want. Call it Super 3D Fuck Farts if you want. I know it's weird, but the weirdness actually starts with the cartridge. As you can see, it looks like no other Super Nintendo game you've ever seen. In fact, it doesn't even look like a game at all. It looks more like a Game Genie. By this time, I believe Nintendo was catching on to the fact that Wisdom Tree was making these Bible games for their system without their permission. So what I think happened was, when Super Nintendo came out, they put a new lockout chip inside the system which only allows games licensed by Nintendo to work. So, how many Super Nintendo games came out not licensed by Nintendo? Well, just one, and it found a way. By plugging an official Super Nintendo game into the top of it, it overrides the lockout chip and you can play it. The question is, would you want to? Well, actually, yeah, you would. What other first-person shooter game do you get to play as Noah? I really can't believe this game exists, but it seems to be a fact because I'm playing it. Now, does it look like Wolfenstein 3D? Yes. In fact, it is Wolfenstein 3D. It doesn't even count as a ripoff. It's the same fucking game, but with Noah. Instead of shooting Nazis, he's shooting goats. All the levels are exact duplicates, but what's really funny to know is that there's a story going around that id, the company that made Wolfenstein and Doom, they gave their own game to Wisdom Tree for them to turn into this. Why? Well, according to the rumor, id was pissed off that the Super Nintendo version of Wolfenstein was inferior to the PC version, and that Nintendo basically butchered it by toning down the violence as well as altering numerous other things. So, as some sort of joke or whatever, id handed the source code over to Wisdom Tree for them to make the mockery which you're looking at now. And there's a bit of a conspiracy going on. According to the Bible, Noah puts 2 of each animal in the ark, right? Well, according to this game, he put a whole bunch of goats on there. And if that's not crazy enough, guess what? All those goats want Noah dead. Damn. Why is there so many of them, and why do you shoot them with a slingshot? I think that would actually make them more angry. I can't even see what you're supposed to be shooting at them anyway. It just looks invisible. It's supposed to be food, I guess, but why does it put the animals to sleep? Well, I guess Noah shoots the food so hard that it knocks the animals unconscious. Now, what's even stranger is how they attack you. They just do like these weird kicks from a mile away, and they hit you. Like, how do they even reach? Listen to how cheerful the music is. Wow, that's great. It's just what you need is some really upbeat music to go along with Noah getting murdered by a bunch of fucking goats. So, that's it. There's more animals along the way, but you get the idea. So, as we've seen, every one of these Bible games rips off something. So just to show you another example, let's take a look at spiritual warfare on the Nintendo. Okay, right off the bat, what does this game look like? Well, here's some hints. Look, it's an aerial view with like bushes and rocks. You start off with 3 hearts for health. You hold 2 items, you go into a little cave and you talk to someone, and when you walk to the next area, the screen moves. There's that square-shaped stairwell, and there's a raft. You go down ladders with gray stone walls, and when you start the game, you get to type in a name. Well, if you can't already tell what this game looks like, let me spell it out. That's right, Zelda. Let's recap, shall we? In Zelda, we have an aerial view with bushes and rocks. You start off with 3 hearts for the health. You hold 2 items. You go into a little cave and you talk to someone. And when you walk to the next area, the screen moves. There's that square-shaped stairwell. You go down the ladders with the gray stone walls. There's your raft. And when you start the game, you type in a name. What a shameless ripoff. Well, at least they came up with a few original ideas, like sometimes when you kill your enemies, a flying devil comes out. And besides just the usual rocks and bushes or trees or whatever, they randomly have all these garbage cans placed about. That's where this game belongs, the fucking garbage! Alright, let's play one more game. King of Kings. Oh, great. 3 more games. Fuck. Let's do Wise Men. Well, you're on a camel. You're basically just trying to ride to the end of the level. Your obstacles include lizards, a cactus that comes up out of the ground, flying rocks, porcupines shooting needles, moving pitfalls, and blocks that come down and stun you. Just like in Bible adventures, the control is really awkward, but here it's so bad it's nearly unplayable. So every once in a while you pick up these scrolls that make you answer questions about the Bible, like who is Jesus' mother? Well, that would be Mary. Now, why are there quizzes in the middle of this game? Quizzes aren't fun. Quizzes make you feel like you're in school. Games are fun. Quizzes, not fun. Put them together. So, you'd probably rather just play the game than answer the questions, which would be a good reason to just avoid the scrolls. But if you get the questions right, you get energy, which you want. Now, a lot of these questions are true or false, and once you get used to that, you tend to not look at the words true and false, because you instinctively assume true always comes above false. But no, not with this game. They alternate just to trick you. Many times I accidentally pick false when I mean to pick true. I mean, what's up with that shit? Just keep them the same. Now let's try Flight to Egypt. It's bad. Alright, Jesus in the Temple, last fucking game. Let's get it over with. Okay, another rip-off of Super Mario Bros. 2, where you're jumping on logs to get across the waterfall. Well, at least they upped the challenge on those logs, but it's just flat-out annoying. The logs have the most erratic pattern. Sometimes you jump too early thinking that the next log is going to come, but it doesn't. Then, just to tease you, it pops up at the bottom, crawling up the waterfall just to sit there and mock you. Other times the second log shows up, but once you're on it and expecting the third one, it doesn't come. But just for one final kick in the balls, it throws all these other logs down to make you think that you can salvage it and jump your way back to safety to try again. But no, not quite. The graphics are really flawed. I mean, usually you know to time your jumps once you see that log coming up over the waterfall, but sometimes they just appear at random, which doesn't give you enough time to react. Also, what's going on with those colors in the sky? Looks like something you might see if you take too much LSD. There's really nothing else worth mentioning with this game. It just sucks, and I can't even stand to play it anymore. I'd rather fuck a porcupine and shove a cactus up my ass. I'd rather slurp crap oozing out of a warthog's anus hole. It's just a bunch of poopy, diarrhea, doo-doo ass shit. That's it. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Birthday Jesus, whatever. Happy Holidays. See ya in 2007.